I am the greatest. I said that even before I knew I was. And in this video, we're going to talk about how do you really believe in yourself and whatever you set yourself to achieve, and how do you really do that before you know that it is really going to happen. Because in some points, especially at the very beginning of the road, the goals that people usually set for themselves, especially in sports or maybe in business, seem so out of reach. So how do you really believe before you believe? And we are going to talk and discuss some psychological theories as well as tricks and tips from greatest athletes such as Muhammad Ali. And let's start by talking about Eric Berne and his ego theories, and how this really applies to your belief system and what you really believe in. And long story short, basically, in order to believe in something, you have to be in this adult state of mind. If you believe in something by your choice, basically you can choose to believe in something, right? You need to be in an adult state of mind. So basically, in Eric Berne's theory, there are three ego states of mind. One is parent, another one is an adult, and another one is a child. So when you're in a child or in a parent state of mind, you usually fulfill the programming, the belief system that your parent installed in you, that your parent ingrained in you, really. And it doesn't give you flexibility to really go for your own dreams and go for what you really want to believe, because there is that voice in the back of your mind that basically tells you that you're deserving of this and maybe not deserving of that, and all this maybe not bad stuff, but really negative stuff sometimes in terms of the goal that you're trying to achieve. So step number one is to be in an adult state of mind. What is an adult state of mind, really? Adult state of mind is the type of mind that ego state is the type of ego state where you really are solving problems here and now. You're not really complaining that much. You are just in the present moment, and in this present moment you are trying to solve the problems that are coming your way to the best of your abilities, right? You're really most of the times are cold-headed and really thinking rationally. So this is very important, to be in that adult state of mind, which is the state of mind that is a cause state of mind. Because child state of mind is, and a parent state of mind is an effect state of mind. So an effect state of mind is basically an effect of some programming. A cause state of mind is a state of mind where you really feel like you can influence things that are happening to you around you, right? So this is very important, step number one, and I really recommend that you guys read games that people play. I might also make another video on ego states of mind, and it's actually great at analyzing athletes and at analyzing even people in some interviews, because you can very easily identify in what ego states of mind by different phrases that people use, right? Even some phrases in his book, Eric Berne really even showed what type of phrases an adult would use and what type of phrases child or a parent would use in different situations. For example, when you've made a mistake, right? So it's very important to be an adult in your life if you want to achieve some sort of dream or a goal. Is more appropriate probably to say a goal that seems so far out of reach. So this is step number one. Step number two is start before you believe it. And this is, I think, what Muhammad Ali really meant by saying, I'm the greatest. I've said that even before I knew I was. Sometimes it's great to analyze, for example, what state of mind you're in, but when you are over-analyzing and when you're really overthinking, when what really needs to be done is work, it's just not helpful, and your mind usually has an advantage over you, right? Comparative advantage. This is actually something that I've heard David Goggins say, and this is really so true, because your mind really knows all your insecurities and weaknesses, and if you start talking kind of to it, with it, and then it has a comparative advantage, and it's gonna talk you out of going for a run, trying some tournament, trying to start a business. It's just not really gonna work out in your favor if you really overthinking. And I like really the slogan of Nike, just do it. Sometimes what it takes is just to start doing something and keep going, even though there is this voice saying that maybe you should be more prepared and stuff. So oftentimes you should really say something before you mean it, and I don't mean that in a deceptive way. You should like deceive people, but sometimes you really need to say to yourself that, for example, I'm the greatest even before you are the greatest, and you sometimes should start doing things before you believe that they are gonna happen. And this is one of the tricks, I guess, because doing something is gonna bring you that belief with it. You can't really, there has been a research done that showed that whatever you tell yourself, if you reinforce it with an action, even just the slightest action is like touching yourself. For example, you can tell yourself, I'm like, for example, I can tell myself, I'm a nice woman, I'm a nice girl, and if I like touch myself like this as a sign of being a nice girl, that has a bigger effect on your these words all of a sudden have a bigger effect. And this is just a simple touching. If you really say something and then you go do it, then your belief, it is psychologically, I guess, not proven, but some research shows that it is really it is reinforcing that belief, if you know what I mean. Another thing that I want to say here is, this is actually trick number 3, is that you really need to put realistic timeline plus 2 to 3 years to that timeline, because sometimes, and I've already said that, you can really not overthink things and really go and do it. But if we're talking about great achievements, such as in sports, right? You can't really do things that take 10 years in a year. It's just not realistic. And I believe that realistic timeline and realistic goals is something that is gonna take you so far. And so my rule of thumb, I guess, is to take and give yourself a realistic timeline, and then add maybe 2 to 3 years to that timeline, so that then you really know that it is realistic, it is a long-term goal, and it is something that you can actually achieve. Don't set yourself timeline for a year when it actually, in reality, it should take you like 5 to 6 years to achieve that level of success. So that's another very important thing that I wanted to mention. And another one is do what you really want. This is very basic, and this is very over-advised psychological tip. But when how do you really know that you want something, especially as a teenager, as a young adult, right? It's really hard to know what you want, simply because there is so much programming going on, from not only from parents, it comes from society and stuff, and we are often told the things that we are supposed to want. And especially if we're talking about sports psychology, usually all the time it comes from parents. So basically parents are telling their kids that they want it. But you really know that you want something if it keeps coming back, kind of. If that idea, if that basically picture keeps coming back to you, if you really feel it over and over again, that, oh, this is what I want, this is where I want to be, this is what I want to do, and you look at this other people and you see them doing this and you really want it. And it's very tricky, because all of us want to hold trophies above our heads, and all of us really want to receive these nice checks from matches and games. But if you really want it, you really want to be in the middle of the struggle, you really want to participate, you really want to fight, and if you know that this is what you want to do, and you want good sides and bad sides of it, then you really know that this thing that this goal that you set for yourself is really something that you want. Why is it so important? Because if you really don't want something, then you really a lot of times don't even believe that this could happen, because it is irrational. And in order to really believe something, in order to believe that you can achieve something really great, really something that is out of reach for most people, right, it is going to take many years to get there, and it is going to take so much effort and disappointment. And if you really don't want it, then you are not going to be able to persevere and to go through all difficulties and obstacles. This is something that actually Steve Jobs mentioned in his commencement speech in Stanford. And that's why it's really important to differentiate, okay, this is what my parents told me that I should do, this is what society tells me what I should do, and this is what I really want to do. And that's so important to really have those clear goals set for yourself, and really to understand what is really something that you want from the bottom of your heart. Another very last thing that is very important that I really wanted to mention, and I was actually hesitated on whether or not I should mention that, because I am a psychologist, I'm not a pastor, but very difficult topic, and it's a psychological topic as well, is your relationship with God. Whether you believe in God or not, whether you believe in nature or not, there is something that is out of our there is something in this world that we cannot control, our circumstances, things that happen to us, really, and someone or something is really in charge of that, even if it's a pure chance, right? And I believe that United States and England are mostly religious countries, so most of you believe in God, and a lot of times we cannot differentiate our relationship with God to our relationship with our parent. And sometimes we think that we know what our relationship with God is only because we know of what our relationship with their parent is. Parents are, and I think it's a very huge mistake, because a lot of times we see God as our parent, right? And if our parent was very was very guilt-evoking, if our parents were very if our parents put a lot of shame on us, then that's how a lot of times people perceive God. And it's very important. There's been multiple research showing that belief in God can really even provoke anxiety if you really believe that God is someone or something who really is that punishing God, who is not loving, simply because our relationship with our parents are not that great, and we only know a God from what our parents are and what our parents told us God is. So it's really important to find a way to really fix your relationship with God, or whatever you believe the source of life is, because if you believe that this source of life is negative towards you, if you believe that he or she or it is not gonna be on your side, is not gonna do things kind of in your favor, and is not gonna bless you, then it's a huge problem. It's a really big problem. It is most probably, if that's your mindset, then nothing is gonna, obviously I don't want to say nothing's gonna work out in your life, but I feel like it's gonna be things are still gonna work out in your life, but it's gonna be that much harder. And fixing those type of relationship, maybe sometimes even through psychologists, or maybe sometimes by going to church, or maybe studying whatever you need to study in order to understand what God is, or what nature is, the source of life is. You really need to fix those type of relationships in order to start believing that blessings could come your way. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. Don't forget to go to my channel and watch my other videos. Don't forget to subscribe and click the like button if you like this video. And as I've already mentioned, thank you so much for watching this video till the end.